Hello, I'm the Reverend Jeremiah Todd Keller. Scott has impacted my life in a lot of ways. Number one, he is very quick to offer his time, and not a lot of people are willing to do that. But people may not know how much of his week he spends with other people, being available to other people, taking other people out to eat, getting to know people and mentor people. So he's helped me in that way to know and to model how we need to make ourselves available for people. And he's been a very good friend to me and my family. And not only a hard worker, but he loves the Lord, and he's awesome.
Made me like church.
You know, he's my brother, and you know, he's my best man in our wedding. He's my adopted uncle for my kids, and so we love him so much, and he does so much for us. We can't even begin to describe how much he means to us.
I think he's actually helped me find a good youth group, because I used to jump around from youth group to youth group, and I never really liked one. But I think Scott was a main leading cause of why I found this youth group, and I really liked it. And I like coming to this youth group. It's a fun place to be at, and he makes it very enjoyable. He entertains us, and he's just a very enjoyable guy to have around.
Being so very real, and I think Scott was one of the first people. Scott and Todd and Pastor Scott Sherwood, all three of them worked really hand in hand in my life to show a very genuine way of living out the Christian life that makes so much sense, and it just resonated with me so much and really impacted my life.
He's the one who brought me to youth group, who impacted me the most, because he's been such a good influence on Jake's life, and I've seen him just as a spiritual influence in my life and other people's lives, and a person that we could all turn to if we have questions at any life.
He's given me an example of what a Christian man of God should look like, and he supports me in most everything I do, well, except for those dumb ideas I have, but most everything. He supports those good ideas. But yeah, he's given me an example of what a Christian man of God should look like and how we should act and go about our lives.
Giving me the knowledge that if I set myself up to be made fun of, the best option is to go ahead and make fun of myself, to take the fun away from everyone else.
Just all the EJs I've been on, all the sessions have really impacted me, and he's really made youth group a fun place to be, and he taught me youth group to really welcome people in. So when I came into the youth group, I felt really welcomed and loved, and he's just made it a really fun place.
Scott has affirmed in me that there's always a place for someone.
One of the things that I remember that really impacted me was a fall retreat a long time ago where he challenged me to pray for 5 specific people, and he gave us these feathers, and that's how I got my best friend, and now she's a youth worker. So if he wouldn't have challenged me to do that and to pray, then I wouldn't be where I'm at today.
With his love and his dedication to my children.
He's shaped me to have a better life in God's words.
He has encouraged me in faith. Scott actually has brought me even closer to God than I have actually ever been. At youth group, I can tell that it gets on his nerves when a bunch of people are talking when he is talking. And I am that person sometimes, but what I do understand is what he's actually saying, and I understand that even though he might seem like we're not, and so he kind of just brought me closer to life.
He always listens to my problems and always comes up with a good solution.
The way that you always demonstrate humility and grace and gentleness and kindness. I think I've seen you angry, but it's very hard to tell because all of those fruits of the Spirit still come out even in those times, and that's pretty awesome to have. And
He's impacted me by helping me realize that I should open myself up more and be more confident in myself and just be less shy about it.
Also just
put this big burden on my heart for teens, and it's the reason why I wanted to come back to be a youth leader, because I could see how much influence one person can have.
Scott has impacted my life by helping me see things from a different perspective that I wouldn't have ever thought of. He's helped me through how to see God more clearly while I'm at school, and just overall like impacted me from a personal level of how to interact with other people from a godlike perspective.
From the countless meals that we've shared and he's paid for, to just me, him, and Zach always hanging around and going to Dixie truck stop and stuff like that. And just as a spiritual influence, he's been always there for me. Always knows the type of advice I need to hear, and I always appreciate that.
Before I knew Scott, like before I was really associated with everyone in this church and first and stuff like that, I knew I was a Christian, but like didn't really know what to do with that information, or like what I was gonna do with it, what direction I was gonna go with it. I just kind of knew what I was, but then Scott really did a good job pushing me into doing things because I'm a Christian and making me make better decisions and figure out who I want to be around and who I don't want to be around and stuff like that. So I feel like Scott's really shaped a lot of things that I do nowadays.
You see, he's impacted my life in a way because he's given me a new way to look at the Bible and see and interpret it.
He's just always there, and he knows what to say at what times. He always knows what to do. He has helped me grow in spiritually throughout, like, for as long as I can pretty much remember, since I was really little.
He's my brother and my friend, and he's been a great spiritual influence since day one, and he's shown me what it means to be a leader in Christ.
When we went on a trip to Great Wolf Lodge and whatever it's called.
Kings Island?
Kings Island, yeah.
A roller coaster in Kings Island.
All the times me and him have driven to NY meetings, even though they're long drives, it's a time when me and him get to talk and have fun. That are going on the Extreme Fly Ride at Kings Island at first.
When he was playing volleyball and he went like this and he completely missed the ball and hit it right in the forehead in the backyard at youth group one time. And then there's so many others, but that's just the one that pops in my head.
Cool. Lindsay?
I would say this last time when we went, where did we go?
Kings Island,
And
yeah.
the three of us hang out.
Not really that good, but it's actually hilarious now that I'm all grown up. But it has to be when we went on our Experience Jesus trip to Kings Island, and me, Jake Milby, and Hope Rice pretty much destroyed a hotel room. And Scott came in and just totally reamed us for it. And we couldn't go to the theme park until we cleaned it all up. And at the time, it was not a fun experience, but it actually it turned out alright. Like, we learned a valuable lesson in respect other people's property, and we definitely paid for it. But it was awesome because it was a little tough love, which is awesome.
Jake's Kings Island experience was a close one because that was really funny. That's like the maddest Scott's ever been. But I think when we went to Kings Island and then I went as like a leader with Scott and got to experience like what it was like to be with the youth and like be an adult with Scott rather than be a kid in youth group with him. So it's just a really fun memory to like transition into adulthood.
There's two. They're kind of on the same level. Super Tug and Don't Squeeze the Burrito.
Either when I was on the way back from Six Flags and I was making faces at people, so I was like going like, and then I went to the window and I was like, and I just hit my window, or hit my head right on the window. Or in the movie theater when we had the inside joke with the shut the duck up, but I accidentally said something else. So.
Turkey sandwich bowl at Noodles, and I know you remember that, Scotty. I know you do.
From NYI Council, wherein I learned such lessons from him. Awesome.
The one that sticks out to me the most is when I was in high school, I attended Chrysalis after he attended. And I just remember trying to share with him how much I realized God loved me in that experience and just that agape love. And I just remember not being really able to explain that to him, but having gone through it, he was able to know exactly what I had experienced. So I just remember being in that moment with him and being able to share that knowledge of God's love in our lives.
God tries to mimic 13-year-old girls, and he's like, oh my gosh, did you hear what she said? Like, oh no, she didn't.
I have to go with the turkey sandwich, only because, and I know it's not that funny for other people, but one time we went out to eat, and it was at a restaurant where he could have ordered any number of things, and he ordered like a plain turkey sandwich. And I just thought that was very, very funny because we could have gone home and made a turkey sandwich, but as I've gone out to eat with him at other places, he continues to order, in my opinion, what are the most boring items on every menu that we go to at every restaurant.
We were at Friends and Family, and we had Christmas in July, and he wore that Santa hat that was like spring.
A lot of them have to do with youth group and our love-hate relationship. But mine go beyond him being my youth pastor, my friend, him being more of my family, and just being a part of his family and him being a part of mine, the Christmases that we spend together, and New Year's and 4th of July, and just there's just a lot there, and I just love that I can call him family.
On the first day that I came to the youth group, he was saying something, and I asked why, and he was like, oh, you're one of those kids.
The times that we've heard about a person giving their life to Christ, and just seeing how much that touches you and how excited you get, and then you get all teary, and then I get all teary because when you cry, I cry. And so strangely enough, those are some favorite memories.
My first photo shoot, we were driving up to Lake Williamson in Scott's truck. It was Scott, and then I was riding shotgun, and there were TJ and Kevin in the back seat. And the entire 2-hour drive, TJ and Kevin were, for some reason, beating the living tar out of each other, and it was hilarious. But it gave me time to like talk to Scott and get to know him better and bond with him a little bit. And it was just really fun.
Whenever I seem to do something, he kind of does it in his own way, and so he's kind of like my girlfriend. He's like that girlfriend over here, so like if I do something like this, he'll do something like that back. And he's just like my girlfriend. He's there. Probably shouldn't come.
My favorite memory is probably when I first came to youth group back in 7th grade at First Church of Nazarene. It was very upsetting of me.
Flags, and we were in the car and we were talking about the mini Butterfingers, and we came up with hashtag Buttertoast.
Me and Scott ever hung out, and it was like after Kim gave us this like nacho dip, and it was so awkward because like the week before Lady talked about how when her grandpa farted, he said it was a duck, so I tooted and I said, oh, it was a duck, and now Scott makes Affleck jokes all the time. Quack.
Scott was probably the first fall retreat I ever went to when we were still at First Church. And I just remember the morning before we left for it, and I was at the church really early. At that point, I'd still been somewhat new, and like, so I was kind of like figuring out my way. And Scott just did such a good job making me feel like a part of the rest of the group and really made me feel welcome. And like everyone definitely did that, but Scott was so good at it. So yeah.
Cool. Good job, squad.
He caught me on stage lassoing, and it was kind of our first encounter together so that he could see how crazy of a person I am.
Cool.
Youth group.
Just that's it. All of youth group.